Hey crew, I think I have done it. This is one of the best builds I have ever put together, and it is some of the most fun I have had running content in Destiny in a while. It is strong, fun to play, and so good to look at. It brings the best out of what Void has to offer and puts it all together and makes something truly fun to watch and play, and I am super excited to show it off for you all. The gameplay will be 15 power level under in the legendary campaign, then I will show you a boss dungeon clear and just some general content after that so you can see what the build can do in all different scenarios, and if you try it for yourself you will have a hard time taking it off, I can promise you that. What we get with this one single build is pretty insane. We take advantage of all three aspects from the subclass: the weaken debuff, the volatile debuff, devour for 15 seconds, volatile rounds for 10 seconds, void overshield for 15 seconds, void overshield melee damage increase, void overshield melee range increase, void overshield grenade recharge increase, devour grenade recharge, demolitionist grenade recharge, weapon damage 50% for 15 seconds, damage reduction for 40% for 8 seconds. That's on top of 100 resilience and on top of overshields. And you can loop all of this infinitely, and when I say you can just keep it going over and over, you can keep it going. We can loop all of those buffs and debuffs infinitely with very minimal effort as far as the gameplay loop goes, and what sets this build even further above is you can run a bunch of different exotics with it, and it will still perform amazingly. I tested it myself with like 5 different exotics and they all added their different benefits. I think I will do a separate video on one of them for you because it was also a blast to play and a very different playstyle than we're used to. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. And to everyone who has become a member of the channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate the extra support that you've shown me and it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Now for the subclass, you can run whatever grenade you like best, and you will see me use 2 or 3 different grenades, I believe, and I will say I really enjoyed the magnetic grenade in harder content. You can also run whatever melee and barricade you prefer, and remember, you always have a void overshield, so that melee will hit pretty hard still. So with the shoulder charge, right, that's going to do a ton of extra damage, and with the far shield throw, it'll provide a little bit of extra damage, but not as much as you get with shoulder charge. For the 2 aspects that we're going to slot, you first want controlled demolition. This states that hitting a target with a void ability or volatile explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode, grants you and nearby allies health when volatile targets explode near you. So it's applying our volatile debuff that causes that void energy to explode when you do extra damage to them. And then we heal when that happens, and we also do extra damage when the volatile does explode on an enemy. So it's doing a lot of different things for us. And then our second aspect is offensive bulwark. While you have an overshield or inside Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster, you have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield. Now the third aspect on the Titan is Bastion. This is the one we don't have on, but that would normally give us the overshield that we need to activate all the stuff with offensive bulwark. But we don't need it because we're getting our overshield from a different source and we're always going to have that overshield up. The only thing we do lose from Bastion is popping that barricade and allowing our fire team members to take advantage of it. So in something like a Grandmaster, Bastion still might be better here, but for pretty much any other content under it, which is the majority of what everybody runs, we don't need it. Now the fragments are really important with this build because we do a lot of extra damage with them. It procs volatile rounds, procs devour, and makes it all last longer. Echo of Undermining is our first fragment. Your void grenades weaken targets. This is going to allow us to do 15% extra damage to every target that is tagged with this weakening debuff. We also have Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. As you can see, we have unlimited grenades with this build. We're always killing things with the grenades, and that's why I like magnetic grenades, because it guarantees you to make sure that you proc volatile round on your weapon no matter what. We also get a plus 10 strength out of this one. For the next one, we have Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you, Invisibility, Overshield, and Devour have increased duration. We're going to be taking advantage of Overshield for 15 seconds, Devour for 15 seconds, and then if you want to throw on the new Heart Shadow Sword from the dungeon, you will also get 10 seconds of invisibility with this build if you want to run that in your heavy slot, which I highly suggest you do it, especially if you're running Peregrine Greaves, Go Invisible, Shoulder Charge. Yeah, you can do that as well. For the last one, we have Echo of Starvation. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Devour. This is really important. This is going to add to our grenade recharge. We have 3 things adding to grenades. We have Devour, so every time we kill something, we're getting grenade energy back from it, plus we're full healing on that. We also have Offensive Bulwark, where our grenade charges significantly faster when we have that overshield. And then our weapon has demolitionist on it. So those three things are getting our grenade back so fast, as you can see in the gameplay, over and over. Now the weapon we're going to be using with this build is Unforgiven. I used it in the last Warlock build video. We're going to use it again here, and that's because of the perk Repulsor Brace. You can also get the new Hollow Denial Trace Rifle this season as well that can have this perk, but it's defeating a void debuff target grants an overshield. We're debuffing our targets because when we kill an enemy with our grenade, that's granting us volatile rounds. We then kill an enemy with volatile rounds, that's a debuffed target that instantly gives us an overshield. So it's very easy to get the overshield right. It's literally get a kill with the grenade, shoot something, get the overshield. You'll always have that overshield up, and then also with the controlled demolitionist aspect on the Titan, that's spreading volatile as well, and you can kill those enemies and get your shield off of them even when you don't have volatile rounds activated. This also comes with demolitionist in the first column, so we get extra grenade energy whenever we kill an enemy. This is great because it pairs with Devour really well. Now for our exotic armor piece, you can literally use pretty much anything you want with this build. It's so self-sustained that you really don't need an exotic to push it over the top. But since we have that option, we're going to push it over the top. And what you saw in the gameplay was me using Armamentarium. The intrinsic exotic perk here is and another thing, gain additional grenade charge. Very simple, you get additional grenade. But since we're refilling our grenades so fast from the Overshield, from Devour, from Demolitionist, we always have a grenade ready and might as well always have a second grenade just to make sure we always have volatile rounds going, and it was just nice chucking that many different grenades. Now for our combat mods to send it even more over the top, we're going with Elemental Ordnance because we're chucking so many grenades. That's going to spawn our one well we need. So that's going to spawn our Void Well. We're going to double up those Void Wells with Bountiful Wells on our helmet. So now every time that we throw a grenade and get a kill, we're spawning 2 wells. With those 2 wells, we are proccing 2 different things. We're proccing Font of Might, so we get a 25% weapon damage boost. And then we're also proccing Well of Tenacity, so we get a 40% damage reduction on top of 100 resilience and on top of the overshield. And this adds to the damage reduction that your overshield can actually take. And then in your class item, I have Elemental Time Dilation on. You only need 1 mod for this to take effect. Same thing with Bountiful Wells. I get this question asked so many times, but you only need 1. Trust me guys, just look at your timers and you'll be able to see it. So this makes Font of Might last 15 seconds and it boosts the Well of Tenacity up to 8 seconds. It originally is at 5 seconds, Font of Might's normally at 10 seconds. So we're boosting it that way. We're also using Radiant Orbs on our class item to get an extra 25% weapon damage buff on top of Font of Might, so that's where the 50% damage increase comes from. We're always spawning that well because in our helmet you have Harmonic Siphon on, so our void weapons will spawn a Orb of Power for us. Then also in your helmet, make sure to throw on Ashes to Assets because that's how we get our super back really fast because we're getting so many kills with grenades. It's just feeding that grenade energy. And when you do get a double kill with Unforgiven, make sure to pick up that Orb of Power because that is proccing Radiant Orbs, but more importantly, and what's crucial to the build, it's proccing Echo of Starvation. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Devour. Devour's full healing you, and it's giving you grenade energy. So very important to grab that Orb of Power. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful. I really, really like this build. Like this is, if I had to do this build in a tier list, this is going near to the top. Like I can't explain how much I enjoyed this build because the exotic armor piece is completely up to you. The exotic weapon is completely up to you. All you need is a weapon with Repulsor Brace for those overshields, and that kind of just makes the entire build go. You get that 1 double kill to spawn that Orb of Power, grab the Orb of Power, and it's just continuous after that. You never have to refresh anything because you have 15-second timers on overshields, on Devour, on 10 seconds on volatile rounds. You have unlimited grenades. I mean, it's just a super fun build, and I really enjoyed making this one and putting it together. So I hope you guys found it as helpful and enjoyable as I did. Thank you so much for watching to the end if you are still here. You guys are the real MVPs if you're still watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.